Well, dance is a very important part of my life because I belong to a family of artists. My father is a very renowned Odissi guru. He is one of those who restructured Odissi to be performed on professional stage. So it became, being the only daughter, it became imperative for me to take it up very early in my childhood. I was trained with great discipline and for years, and then by the time I was 10, I was ready to perform on professional stage. So even now, we have a very big dance school which runs at our residence. It is not along the lines of modern university or schools. It's on the lines of old Guru Shishya Parampara, where the students come and they interact in a very close manner with their teacher, with their guru, and they become part of the family and they receive training. So right now, dance is everything for me.
Could you speak about the Indian dance art as general?
Well, now Indian dance is very different from any other dance one sees in the world because, first of all, it is uh, highly developed. Second thing is that it is completely on a spiritual level. um, we we do have dances where we just spontaneously do something when we're happy and we want to express our joy, and we have a number of folk dances. But when it comes to classical dance, then its origin is in the ancient temples where dancing was a part of their temple ritual. We had dancers specially appointed for the temple, and early morning they had to start the day. In fact, the day of the temple would begin with these dances, and later at the end of the day also dance was necessary. So this is how this tradition was kept alive, and now we do on modern stage, but even then it's a part of our ritual. This is how we worship, and we communicate with our God.
What are the main dance schools or dance forms of India?
See, now India is a very, very vast land and culturally very rich. So you will find dance all over India. Culture is very, very important. But now what happens, geographically we vary, climate-wise we vary. So due to these changes and changes in its little culture, we have different forms of dance. Like when we are in the south, keeping their traditions, we have Bharatanatyam. In Tamil Nadu, we have Kathakali or Mohiniyattam in Kerala, which reflects their culture. Then we come upwards. We have Odissi dance, which I practice. Um, it belongs to Odisha, a state in the southern eastern region of India. Then we go more to the east and we have Manipuri, which is completely devotional in nature, so much so that it is not performed very often on modern stage. Then coming to west side of India, we have Kathak, and this is how we have, these are the main forms of Indian classical dancing.
Actually, you are representing the Odissi dance form. Could you kindly introduce the Odissi?
Now, Odissi is in fact the oldest Indian classical dance because we have evidence that it existed in the 2nd century BC. We can see in the caves called Rani Gompa in Odisha. And then later it was done in the temples, and around 12th century onwards when very big Jaganath Temple was built in Puri in Odisha, dance became very, very important for the temple services. As I said earlier, that special dancers were appointed for this. And that was the time when Vaishnavism flourished. And uh, we celebrated singing about Krishna. And everything was written on Krishna, and the dance was mainly done on Krishna. This was also the time when 12th century poet Jayadeva wrote his much acclaimed poetry, epic poem called Gita Govinda. And Odissi became mostly the dance of Gita Govinda, singing about Gita Govinda.
Who are the main exponents, main masters of Odissi dance?
Yeah. Now I will not say here, it's very important to note that I will not say that only the dancers are the great exponents of Odissi. It is not that. It is those behind the dancer who create the dancers. For example, it was in the 50s and 60s when Odissi was restructured, codified, and systematized to be performed for people on stage. And here they decided how to create a dancer, what was the syllabus a dancer would have to follow and study. So here we have my father. He was one of those who did it, Guru Mayandar Raut. Then we have a very great scholar called Sri D. N. Patnaik. In fact, his book was the first book to be written on Odissi. Then we have Guru Kilucharan Mahapatra, who traveled around and did a lot. And a great dancer called Sanjukta Panigrahi. Then my own favorite dancer is Kiran Sehgal. And these are the people I hold in great esteem.
Even today the dance art is very popular in India. Why do you think that the modern society could keep its heritage?
See, let me tell you this, that as long as human beings are alive, the traditional aspects of culture will survive, because even now a human being wants some contact with nature. That is why he or she goes to the mountains or goes to the seas. Similarly, dance is a form of art which is basically dealing with emotions, with feelings, and they will always survive as long as human beings are there. So when this is a chance where people get to have a link with their old tradition. One, second, to learn how to express themselves and how to emote with satisfaction. So I feel like we have our MTV culture, V channel culture, but along uh, that, along with all of that, we also have our classical music, dance, and which is becoming more and more popular, because that is a part of a tradition and it will remain alive always.
Well, you are not only a performing artist, but in the same time a master because you are running your school of own. Would you speak about this activity?
Now, it's very strange that I took up teaching when I was still academically in school. I think basically because of my father. He's one of the greatest gurus of Odissi in India. And he had so many students, and since my childhood, I was 4 or 5 years old, I was watching him how to teach and how to interact with his students. So unconsciously, subconsciously, I just drifted into teaching without my realizing, and it became a part of my routine life. So now it's very nice because he has a great school and a part of it is managed by me. The training for first 5 years is given by me, and we have around 75 students. And now the strangest part is we don't have some huge building or anything like that. It's at the residence of my father. We have one whole big hall devoted to dance, and that's how we function on the lines of Guru Shishya Parampara.
What do you think? Why these young teenagers are coming to learn the Odyssey thing?
Yeah, it is basically now when the world is becoming smaller, in the sense that there is this global unity, what becomes important is your own identity. When you interact with people of different nationalities and culture, you want to represent what does your land stand for, and what is your identity, what can you offer to the world. So this makes us explore more and more into our own rich heritage.
You are performing here in India, but also you tour the world. Which countries you have been before?
Yes, for me, there is something like I like to expand. I like to explore my art more, and want to propagate Odissi more as much as possible. So because of that, it is very important for me to travel out. And of course, dancers go there, dancers perform, and they come back. But nobody kind of stays there to teach and to make the people understand what is the depth of Odissi. So half year I stay abroad, I travel, and half year I stay here because my father is here and I have to learn from him still. And for me, I get immense satisfaction when I'm with people abroad and I tell them about Odissi, I perform and I work for them and I teach them. And I have performed in 22 countries, including Germany, France, Holland, Belgium, Spain, Morocco, Portugal, Hungary, Austria, Belgium, all over Africa, and Morocco, well, all these countries. And in fact, we have a small school called Mayandar Raut School of Odissi Dance in The Hague, Holland. And it's the only Odissi